Hello friends, in today's video I'm going to be showing you how you can build an underwater tunnel for your guests. So let's get started. First of all, you want to get yourself some terrain. Now the easiest way that I found to build this is if you go away and get your stamp tool. So we're going to go for a cube here. Make sure that it is on the plus sign. Pop it down. I'm going to be pressing X on my keyboard so I can get a really good idea of the size here. So with that being said, we're just going to make almost like a U shape. So we're going to do two little blocks over here, one little block in the corner there, and then we're going to bring it right down to the front there. You can see on the bottom there that this is very close to the front. If you pull it out a bit, it kind of gets like this weird yellow line. I want this to be as straight as possible because it's really going to help me out later on. Then I'm just going to shift it over here, line that up so it's all nice and simple. Okay, now what we want to do is grab ourselves a barrier. Now obviously we want to go glass because it's a little bit silly having a barrier that we cannot see our animals. So again, we're just going to click in here and bring our barrier straight over like so. Then we're going to click our barrier, select this little circle, and then we just want to drag this all the way up to the top. Now, if you have made it like mine, you should be able to put the water straight in. But what I have noticed is there is maybe like a little slight gap there, which is not a huge issue. For the purpose of actually making it correct, I'm just going to move this back ever so slightly so it is nice and tight with the water. Now you can see that I do have little pokey out bits. Again, that's no problem. We can just bring that down so it's underneath the surface there. So now we're going to go to our terrain tool, water, and then we can put our water source in. So we're going to go for cam water, and there we have it. Next we want to put the path in. Go to my settings here, scroll down, and you have snap alongside barrier selected. So you can see here that really snaps to it. What I'm going to do is to make this quite equal, I'm going to put one little path there and one little path here. You can see it's blue, and then I'm just going to line all this up. So that is like pretty damn sleek if you ask me. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to build out from this straight along here. Now the tunnel part of it is actually really simple. So we're going to have the tunneling going this way. So we want to go to our settings again and make sure that we have the snap alongside barrier turned off, but this time we want to have tunneling turned on. We are just going to click in once, and then that's going to essentially dig our hole. Then we're going to go back into our settings, scroll down to the bottom, elevated length. We want to click that on and actually press that to 2 meters. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to build this out as much as we want. And I think, okay, I kind of want this at the back of the habitat. So we're going to go here and we're just going to sink ourselves down so we can see what we're doing. So we've got one little path bit in, and then what we're going to do is with your left mouse button, and then we're just going to drag it down once. So you can see here that we do have one slope, and then we're just going to level that out. Now if you keep on going, we are now underneath the water, so we'll just keep on going out. So you can see here it is very murky, quite horrible, but it's all good. So that is now got our underwater tunneling done. So you can see as a guest, you can easily walk underneath here. The only issue is the water is pretty murky. So we'll just go all the way up to the top here and select our water. And then we can change the cleanliness of it, which is really cool. So if we go into our customize tab here, your transparency, if you put this all the way up to 2, it is completely clear. And that's exactly what we want. Now you can add in special effects, which was part of the new update, such as bubbles and mist. However, as a guest, when you're walking through here, just be aware that you're going to be walking in a bubble-filled wonderland. So I'm actually going to take these off because I don't think it's very realistic. Now, we can obviously make this look tons better by hiding these parts at the side. So that's essentially what I'm going to do next, how you can take this and make it nicer for your guests. So let me go away, design this all up, and I'll get back to you guys. Okay, so I have done some of the exterior building and a little bit of the interior as well, but first we have to put in our animal. So I've decided to have this little part right here, which we're going to put our path. So we're going to go to paths here, and then we're going to go align to grid. And what we want to do is we want to select our building. So it says get grid from group, and then we are going to just pop down our path like so. I'm actually going to delete this bit here, and then we're going to come off of our align to grid there. And we're just going to make sure that our settings are fine. Yep, that's all good. And then what essentially we want to do is we want to go up. In fact, we'll go one more in. So I'm going to go flatten terrain just to make this nice and smooth. And then we're going to take that off, and then we're going to put tunneling on. And then essentially I just want some stairs straight all the way up. So you can see here that that's went too high. So now we will select elevated length, and we're going to knock this down to, I'm going to say 1. And then we're going to take tunneling off. And basically what I want to do is just eyeball this until we get nice and flat. So there we go. Now I can essentially have our guests coming up at the top here, and they can have a third viewing platform, or our keeper gate. So that's essentially what we need to do now. So I'm going to grab myself a keeper gate, and I'm decided that I kind of want this at the end of the habitat. So we're just going to put that there, and now I'm going to throw a null barrier all around this. Okay, so I threw the null barrier all around. I decided to keep the front of this glass just so it's a little bit easier to do. And I'm going to go and get my terrain now and just tidy this up a little bit. So we're going to take some of this bit out here just so it's a lot easier for us to build. So that's essentially ready for our habitat to be completely decorated. I'm going to do the inside of this part here, and then I'll show you guys what that looks like. Okay, this is our habitat completely designed now. So we've got lots of foliage in here. I'm not going to go quite over all this in detail. You can do see that we do have our underwater tunnel there, and I've also put in the platypus. So our guests can come up the top here and view the habitat, and they can also go through our tunnel and then down into this section as well. So I will quickly take you through the tunnel just to see what the habitat looks like in more detail. So we'll just drop down here and we'll go through this tunnel. Is this guy going through? Okay, mate, I'll follow you, shall I? Lovely shirt, lovely hair. You're a bit slow, you do you. Sorry mate, I'm going to take over you. Okay, so here we are in the habitat itself. So we've got our platypus swimming about above the tunnel. I think this would be really cool to check all this out. And yeah, our guests and our keepers can come underneath as well. Again, not going to go into too much detail about this, as this is just a quick example of what you can create here in Planet Zoo. So if you'd like to see how all this came together, then click on this video here, and I'll catch you in the next one. Until then, take care.